Hey guys, John from Wooded Rancher Productions here, and as you can tell, Red is not here. Red actually went on vacation starting today. So they packed up, loaded, and they went and left, and so my family is stepping in to kind of help run the farm. And so I'm actually at Red's house tonight. I'm up here with my youngest son. Mama Bear's back in town, taking care of some last minute things and running everything. So when Red asked me about stepping in and running things up here on the farm while he and his family were away, I double checked with my wife and she was all about it. And so we just totally were like, let's do this. And then the more that I got to thinking about it, I was like, well, this would make a great video for anybody that is like, well, what's it like to run a farm? I don't do this every single day. I'm up here every weekend, sometimes throughout the week helping out. So it's even going to be a good experience for me. So I'm going to give you a glimpse of what it's like every day, at least how for our farm and our operation. It's super, super small. So I'm sure there's some folks that work on big farms that are watching that are probably just chuckling. Um, but if you're not used to it, it can be very tiring. I'm going to be very open and honest with just how I'm feeling, what's going on. I'm going to try to record as much of everyday tasks that I'm doing, except for driving because that's dangerous. Adding on almost an hour of commute each way to my job on top of this is also going to make it interesting because most farmers, at least in East Tennessee, it's a small operation. And so people have full-time jobs that they're going and driving, 30, 45, 55 minutes, whatever, an hour, one way to do their full-time job. And then they're coming back and then running the farm. It's a generational thing. People, they just get used to it. And so unless you're like running, you know, living off the land and have your land paid for and all that stuff, um, you know, and your farm is generating lots of revenue to be able to live off of because of the cost of living these days, then you have to work. So to give you a quick breakdown on how our farm operates, my parents are heavily involved in the building out the infrastructure, planning, purchases. They're also like the visionaries of the farm, so they've got a vision for how the farm is going to hopefully last into future generations. And so obviously they're getting a little bit older, and so tasks are harder to complete, and that's where Red, myself, his family, my family, and then we have a bunch of other siblings that try to get involved as they can. But Red and his family handle most of the day-to-day, the general upkeep, maintenance, feeding livestock. But not to say that mom and dad are not involved in you know, physical tasks or anything like that, because they very much are. They're, just Monday, I think 5 or 6 days ago, they were up in the greenhouse working because we're trying to get that running, and dad is always sitting on the mower because there's just so much to mow around here. So mom and dad and Red, his wife, myself, and then, my wife, and any other siblings will try to sit down at least once a month and have a meeting on what projects we're working on, how making sure we're all on the same page, moving in the same direction, and just kind of keeps everybody moving in a common direction, because you can get really off track with if you're not on the same page and you got to work together on a farm. I believe the history of any farm is super neat. But I feel a strong emotional bond with this farm because this is, for the most part, where I grew up until we moved back to town. But I've been on this farm my entire life, off and on the weekends during summers as a kid, working with my grandparents and keeping bees and, all working in the garden and, playing with friends up here. So if you want to know more about it, check out, I'll drop a link in the below. There's a video that we did a few months ago, the history of our farm. It really does, I think, a good job of just explaining everything. So if you're interested in the history of our farm, check it out. So hopefully we've kept you curious this far into the video, but we're going to get right into the rest of the video. But I want to give a quick little message to Red. I hope that you guys enjoy your vacation. We really appreciate everything that you're doing on the farm to help mom and dad out. Mom and dad, couldn't say this enough, but the time and energy and finances that you've invested into the farm and just the level of love towards our family for future generations, we really appreciate it.
Well, good morning. I slept fantastic last night. I slept with the windows open, and as you can hear, the birds chirping, the rooster crowing, just the smell of farm fresh air is awesome. My wife's coming up here a little later this afternoon, and so we'll get to hang out. And then come Monday morning, that's when the real test will begin. But I slept, like I said, really well. My youngest son, he's up here, and he came and got in bed with me at some point last night. Had the windows open, so I don't know if he got cold or what, but I woke up and he was all cuddled up next to me. So we just kind of laid there for a few minutes, and I got up, made some coffee, and now I'm just enjoying my morning coffee and listening to the birds. So I'm gonna get back to that, and I'll show you more when I start. All right, so it starts off like this. We are up here getting eggs. Chickens were fed double last night, so that we didn't have to feed this morning because we weren't sure if we were going to be coming up or not. So we're just going to gather some eggs, and my dog just got shot by the electric fence. Well, Gibbs, how was that? You didn't like that. So anyway, there's some broody hens in here, and I've actually got to look up the term broody hen, but I'm pretty sure it just means mad mama, or maybe it's a breed. I'm not honestly 100% sure, but I'll update that later. Here, go put that in the basket. Come on, come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Get up. She does not like me taking her eggs. Sorry, Mom. I'm hungry.
I put it in there.
They're like, why are you robbing me? Eggs are nice and warm. All right, let's keep checking. Looky here. Here, bring the basket over here. For all you folks eating our farm eggs, normally they're not this clean, but those are good eggs. About 15 eggs in the first morning. Now, we didn't gather eggs last night because we were too tired, but 15 eggs for a first haul, not too shabby. All right, guys, so I'm up here where we keep the feed in these barrels. Now, we don't feed grain every single day, so I've been strictly instructed to give the cows feed on Saturday, Tuesday, and Friday. And they go through about 50 pounds. Springtime, so they're eating lots of grass. So, I'm going to... Oops, spilled some. I don't know if you've ever smelled cow feed. That smells real good. All right, guys. So I'm about to feed the cows, and as you can see, I'm over here in our little corral area. And last week we tried to give the cows medication and fly treatment. We were able to give them the fly treatment. We put them in the corral. We could not get them to go through the chute. So we were talking to one of the neighbors, and they said, you know, cows are very stubborn, and they, you know, if they have a bad experience, it takes a minute for them to kind of recuperate. So the last time we had the cows in the corral was when we banded the calves. And so banding the calves is essentially castrating them so that they don't we don't have inbreeding within our herd. And so we're trying to get them more comfortable with being in the corral. So we're going to start feeding them in here on the days that we do grain. So that way they kind of get used to it, and they have a good, they don't associate this area with pain or like, oh, what are they going to do to us next? So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. So I've got this set up, got the gate open. I've got this blocked off to where they can't go anywhere. And then I've got the feed trough in there. So I'm just going to call them up and put the grain in there and just let them come in and eat at their own pace. Now, yesterday when I was up here, they were up here belting and acting like they were starving. They wanted to be fed. I didn't feed them any grain last night because that was not what I was told to do. So I'm going to call them. You can see them down there. I'm going to see if I can harness my inner cow call. Red's got it. And they come running when he calls. So let's see. Woo! Woo! Come on, get some food. Woo! Here they come running. No, stay on that side of the fence. Woo! Maybe I might have the makings of a farmer. Hold on. Come on, the food's the other way. Come on. Yeah, there's some there. Come on. Come on. Come on. Go. Let's go. Come on. We were trying to bait them through the chute last week. Hitchcock, start hogging the food. Somebody found it over there. Why don't y'all pay attention to what they're doing? There we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you get the cows used to being in the corral, so that way, next time you do need them to go through to give them medication or something, they're not constantly like, no, not going in there, bro. So I'm gonna let them eat. I'm gonna actually go eat myself because it's almost 9 o'clock and I hadn't had breakfast. And the little one's hungry.
Banjo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? You just cook. Gross. Just cooling off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 11 eggs. Not as productive today, but it's the weekend. We'll give them a break. But hey, starting tomorrow, y'all should be back on pace to produce 15. So anything less and you'll not be employed here. These chickens. All right, guys, that's going to conclude part 1. I think I'm going to break this up into 2 parts just because I was reviewing the footage and everything that I have edited so far, and it's about 14 minutes. So if you make it through that, fantastic. Also, I'm not going to bore you with a bunch of repetitive information of just continually doing something. I'm always going to keep my camera handy so that way if something happens, I can whip it out and film it. Today's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. I go to work first thing in the morning, so I got to get up early. So I'm about to head to bed here in just a few minutes. So good night.